you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
3, 2.
Welcome back to the third and most evil segment. Brian, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but some people might say that I am the villain of this podcast.
Of course.
And I take exception to that. I think that I'm the good guy here. But you know what? I think that's what makes most villains the best villains is all villains think that they're doing the right thing. They're doing the righteous or good thing, you know? So this week, our Mount Rushmore, let's put it to good use and let's come up with our favorite male villains in pop culture.
Sure. Well, my first one fits that criteria you just stated perfectly. So he believed that he was right. He believed he was doing good by the universe by reducing the population that was taking up too much space, taking up too many resources. Thanos, played by Josh Brolin in the Avengers movies. Character was very interesting anyway. Is always a cool character in the comics, and certainly the film version was portrayed perfectly by Josh Brolin. He had the look. The look was cool. The whole storyline I thought was very well done, and of course, just great voice, everything. So Thanos.
They did the mocap, you know, with the dots on his faces to get like his expressions. So while he's talking, so you get the voice of that. And he brought such a humanity to it, but still that overtones of evil.
Sure.
Like he was just a piece of shit, but like he did have that bit of humanity and like we said, he thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, the logic makes sense. You could definitely understand the logic, and also the cool element was certainly it was all random.
Yeah.
It was, villains and heroes alike were half of them just,
right.
Of course, disappeared for many years in that storyline, as we know. So, yep. Who do you got,
right.
Dean? Who makes your list?
Number one on my list, I'm going to the biggest of the bads. You're talking about galaxies and universes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go the Emperor of the Galaxy, Emperor Sheev Palpatine, old Sheev there. You could argue of other characters in Star Wars. I don't know if they're listed, so I won't name them. But you could go and name other people. But other people have redeeming qualities. Sheev Palpatine was pure evil. He was a Sith, so to speak. There was nothing but just pure, unadulterated power he strived for, and he succeeded with, honestly. The manipulation and the patience of the manipulation. He is just the worst of the worst, which makes him one of my favorites. Sheev Palpatine.
Yeah, you're right.
Played by Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah, very well portrayed, for sure. But yeah, you're right. Just the only motivation is, like I said, was just power. There was
power. That's it.
Nothing else. There was no other motivation whatsoever. Didn't care, like you say, who he manipulated, what he had to do, who he hurt. It was all just to rule the galaxy.
But he also goes against the general idea of what we had said about villains, the best villains, thinking they're doing the right thing. He didn't care if it was right or wrong. It was just for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he is the rare air when it comes to that.
Sure. Yep.
All right, number 2 on your list, Brian. Who do you got?
Going into the world of horror films here, Dean. So one of my favorite slasher movie villains of all time, because this one actually had a personality. So many of them just were mindless zombie-like characters. Certainly, Jason and Michael Myers were just these beings that just kept coming after you, and that's all fine and good. But who had the ultimate personality? Freddy Krueger, played by the great Robert Englund. Again, played the character so well, not unlike some of these other villains and things and heroes of the movies. One guy tried to portray him in a reboot, and you just can't do it effectively. I did see that they might be making a series of some sort coming out later in the year, some type of Nightmare on Elm Street series, which I'm very excited for.
Yep.
But yeah, just scary. The whole premise was frightening, and again, just the whole personality that Robert Englund brought to that character was just took it to a whole other level. We talked about in other episodes. I mean, some of the movies got a little goofy and a little over the top, nutty.
But like those first couple where he was just unadulterated evil, you can't get better than that.
No, absolutely. The first that first one still holds up as one of the best horror movies of all time, in my opinion.
1,000%.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
I like it.
Yep.
All right. Number 2, we've done our first 3 are characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are all going to be characters, but I'm saying is they're all one way of a comic book or whatnot, or science fiction. Let's go reality based. Let's go Frank Underwood from House of Cards, portrayed by Kevin Spacey.
Sure.
I was Kevin Spacey's done a lot of good bad guys. May have portrayed one in real life, but this one, Frank Underwood was on top. He was like Palpatine. Like everything was to service his power, and he was the perfect. Like you definitely believe that a politician, U.S. politician, could be that fucked and corrupt and just brutally evil, and he portrayed it perfectly.
Very good.
So yeah, Frank Underwood, Kevin Spacey, House of Cards.
Excellent. Yeah, sort of Kevin Spacey's played some other good villains in his own right. As well. Okay, I'm wearing a Doc Holliday shirt from Tombstone. Dean, I know both of our favorite movies of all time is Tombstone.
Absolutely.
A lot of good villains in that movie as well, but my favorite...
who are you going with?
Johnny Ringo.
Of course.
Johnny Ringo, played by Michael Biehn?
Yeah. He was also in the first Aliens movie?
He was. I don't know. He was. He was in one of them. The Terminator. Played John Connor.
Terminator.
John Connor in The Terminator.
But he wasn't in any of the Alien movies?
I don't know. He was in. He was in one of the was it not Predator, but one of those movies. I have to look it up here as well.
Okay.
But anyhow, just Johnny Ringo was a whole other level of evil in that movie here. So he was, he certainly was a good gunslinger. He knew it, and the whole build up to Wyatt Earp going to fight him, and certainly Doc Holliday stepping in there and saving us. That whole storyline and arc and dynamic was great. But Johnny Ringo, definitely evil, frightening character set in the Old West. So, love the villain, makes my list. Go ahead.
One of the coolest things about Johnny Ringo was that he was on the verge of being cool. The portrayal of that character was so well done that he took him to that line of evil where, like, you know, you have some of these like bad guys like, oh dude, that dude's badass, he's a dick, but I love him. Johnny Ringo was like, he rode that line. Like, he could, if that actor made a couple different choices, you could have been saying how cool he was. But nope, he went the opposite and just stuck with like pure fucking cold-blooded killer. It was. Yep. I can't praise that movie enough. So,
by the way, the actor Michael Bay, he was in Aliens, the sequel. So you were correct. He was an alien.
I knew he was in there. Okay.
Yep. 1986 Aliens. There you go. All right. Who else you have, sir?
All right. Let's go Biff Tanner.
Good.
Biff Tanner was a
Tannen.
Tannen. Yeah. Jesus.
Great one.
Tanner's Danny and his brothers. Biff Tannen. Sorry. Played by a Thomas Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Future movies. He was what everybody thinks a bully in the 50s would be, and he grew up to be a prick as well. Just there again, no redeeming qualities. He was just a prick to not just even to his friends, like it was everybody, everything around him, and it showed you a very slight idea of a backdrop where he. Or his backstory with living with his grandmother, like you're like, okay, probably didn't have the best home life. That's probably why he is the way he is. But yeah, I love Biff Tannen. Even when you get into Mad Dog Tannen and the third one, or the different timeline Tannens, Biff was a fantastic bad guy. Love him.
Yeah, I'm with you. One of the most hateable characters of any movie series.
If you get a chance, look up Thomas Wilson's stand-up. He's a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
Outside of acting, he's really funny. Really, just like a likable dude. Like he does this whole song. You can find it on YouTube that he sings about. People, because he's like, people ask me all these questions about Back to the Future. I'm just going to answer everything right here in a song, and it's cool. Give it a shot.
I like it. That's great. And like you said, solidly acted. I mean, all these other villains. You know, even if there's multiple movies in the series, typically it's the same character they're playing in different films, right?
Right.
That guy had enough acting chops. I give you the thumbs up on the video.
Of course.
To play, like you said, play that same character, but in different iterations. Old Biff, young Biff, old
broken
West
down Biff.
Yeah, exactly. Just solidly acted.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you Palpatine's apprentice.
There we go.
Darth Vader. You can't have a best male villain without Vader. You know, I mean, we've said so much about Vader over this podcast in general, but yeah, again, just such an interesting evil character. The whole story arc of it's that really George Lucas said it himself that the storyline, at least the original 6 movies, it's not really about Luke Skywalker. It's about Darth Vader. His whole arc, and certainly his fall, how he again rose to, you know, quote unquote, redeem himself, whatever. But you know, certainly the look, everything. Star Wars would not be as popular at all without a very interesting looking and story behind Darth Vader.
Well, that's the thing. His mask is so iconic. In the original movie, he only had only a handful of minutes of screen
12
time.
minutes or something like that.
12 minutes, something like that. And if you would have left that movie with just that, he wasn't in any of them except New Hope, he still would have been on this iconic list for so many people as
Sure.
this villainous bad guy. Probably more because he didn't get redeemed and you didn't know a backstory. It was just this ominous, dark cloaked figure with this killer mask and choking people out.
Absolutely. You have all the arguments on we have to did he really redeem himself? That's a whole thing, but still, great villain, and got to be on the list.
So there's a guy sitting at the cantina, and they're like, "Dude, did you hear? Darth Vader threw Palpatine down shaft, killed him. Dude redeemed himself." He goes, "Oh yeah, tell that to my family in Alderaan." Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him.
Right,
so happy for him. So yeah, he redeemed himself in our eyes, but if it was reality, he still murdered a lot of people.
Right, it would have more if he would have been stopped.
Right.
Yep. All right, what else you got?
All right, I've got. Well, if you're gonna talk about evil, might as well call the Doctor, Doctor Evil. The Austin Power movies. Again, you have just he thought what he was doing was right because he was evil. It was just in his nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I love the actor. I love the character. All those movies. And I mean, he was a bad guy in the movies. I mean, so
yep.
it is. So yeah, I love Dr. Evil.
Yeah, the whole purposeful impersonation of Lorne Michaels. That's because Lorne Michaels' impression, right. And I just love the direct making fun of the 1960s James Bond movies. Just really out in the open like that. Just so good. Yeah, definitely one of Mike Myers' best roles.
He said he'd do another one.
Yeah. I would see that. I'm interested.
Oh, of course, absolutely. After I just shit on the Toy Story about keeping going, fuck it, let's all watch him.
Yeah, what the heck? You have a son of Austin Powers or something like that,
right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of the most iconic, arguably the most iconic comic villain has been portrayed by different actors in different ways in the movies and animated series and everything. My favorite version, though, of the Joker, played by Heath Ledger in the Dark Knight movie. So, the Joker in general, just a psychotic. I mean, we all know who the Joker is. Definitely one of the greatest villains, period. But again, I had to mention as well my favorite portrayal by Heath Ledger. Just
absolutely,
the logic is, you can understand how a guy could think the way that he thought, seemed to make sense a little bit in his own crazy way.
Sure.
Out to prove that man certainly was, more bad than good, basically. Chaos will win at the end of the day. Certainly was proven wrong, but again, give me the Joker in any iteration, he's going to be one of my favorite villains, period. Yep. But again, added nod to the great Heath Ledger for his portrayal.
Yeah, none of the other people on any of our lists here won an Oscar for being evil. So that explains that right there.
That's right. That's my 5, man. What else you got? My
last one. Calvin Candy. Are you familiar?
Calvin Candy, no.
Calvin Candy was portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained.
Ah, yes, that's right.
That
Great
dude was just, he was like what you know, when you think of the evil, racist, Southern slave owner in the 1860s, right?
Yeah.
Just vile and just disgusting, and there's no redeeming qualities on him.
No.
None. He was just a piece of shit. And it just, and again, not cool, not even fun, not even like he would make jokes and like, he's just so awful. I can't even laugh at like the joke.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, props to Leo. I mean, that's what he did with that was just incredible. The whole movie's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's of all the villains, as far as the acting level, to take it to that level of just absolute hatred. You're right. Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the best ever in that role.
Right.
So much to where was it Christoph Waltz's Dr. Schultz?
Yes.
Right. Just he knew that he was going to be killed if he just couldn't shake his hand, and that's what,
Yep.
and he knew that as well. You know,
Yep.
DiCaprio, he knew that I'm going to make you shake my hand because you don't want to seal the deal, and he loathed him so much that he was willing to die for it. Just really, and you could understand that.
Sure, absolutely.
You know?
Vile.
That's a great one.
All right, good. So that's my list. Any honorable mentions for you?
I do have a couple. You want to go back and forth?
Yeah. We don't have to go into in depth, but
okay.
In passing,
I just mentioned it real quick. I had Biff Tannen. That's how I do the name.
Sure.
I couldn't remember if it was Tanner or Tannen as well, but Biff Tannen again made my list.
Well, I wrote Tannen. It's just my handwriting is dog shit. Okay. When I look down, so I went to Scar. I mean,
sure.
Motherfucker killed Mufasa. Some bitch.
Yeah. Yep. Hard to beat. Another comic book villain, one of my favorites. That's about to make a portrayal back in the movies again, as we talked about, played by Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom was always an intriguing villain in the comic world, certainly. Just his whole quest for power. He always had the name is fantastic. Always had a cool look with the armor and the cloak and everything. Yeah, Dr. Doom.
I went back to the Star Wars universe, and I went Jabba the Hutt.
Mm-hmm.
Just the disgusting, vile creature that he was. He was awesome.
Sure.
Jabba the Hutt.
Very good. I have Hannibal Lecter from the Silence of the Lambs. Of course, a couple movies there in the series. Yeah. Of course, played by Anthony Hopkins in the movies. Great portrayal. Interesting villain. And again, he's sort of... Yeah, definitely scary. Like he's a believable type person. Yeah, like you picture could exist.
He's hiding in the shadows.
Sure, absolutely. What else you
got? Commodus. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Joaquin Phoenix in The Gladiator.
Sure.
It just a fucking creep. Like everything about him was just, every time he talked, you weren't sure what sort of like just weird, creepy, awful shit was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a happy ending when they took it, when they killed him in that movie.
Sure.
Just a creep.
And another villain where you could picture, you understand his side of it, whether it be animated series or the movies, Magneto.
Okay.
You understand his fear of humans, and they're going to take us over and push us out. So let's rise up and fight them. And you can understand that side of it. And also, I'm using Magneto because we did a prior episode of what villain would we be for each other.
Ah, yeah.
And Nick said that he envisioned I would be Magneto, which I kind of like that answer as well. So making my list, and that's what I got. There's plenty others out there, but that's what I got.
Sure. I had Thanos also. Grand Moff Tarkin. Let's mention him real quick.
Sure.
Just the sunken in old British face, just with killing at ease.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. So yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. But yeah, my last two, Terminator.
Sure.
From the first one, just
great one.
No thought, no emotion. Will never stop until the mission is complete. That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kevin Spacey again with Kaiser Sose.
Good one.
So that is my list.
Yeah, I think you've been known as the Terminator of the bedroom of sorts. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No thought, mindless, just until the mission is complete. Yeah.
And I always keep coming.
Another villain I have to mention, Dean.
Sure.
One villain out there is just exerting too much energy when you're simply just trying to enjoy a nice bike ride.
I hate that.
You know what I'm saying? You know, don't be your own villain. Go check out an electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. You can find them on Facebook, find them online, or simply just give them a call at 330-808-7792 if you are in the Northeast Ohio or Carrollton area, and tell them you wish to vanquish your own villain of personal energy. How about that? And another villain, Dean, we have to mention is just bad tattoos.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the worst villains you can have on your body. It's just simply a bad tattoo, and you're not going to have to worry about that. If you look up our friends at Golden Heart Tattoo, you can find them on Facebook.
Them the superheroes.
Exactly. You know, get a tattoo of your favorite villain. You know, something like that, like maybe a Dean or something, I don't know. But find them online, goldenhearttattoos.com, or give them a call, 234-706-2982. Well, another villain we have to mention, Dean.
Yep.
The end of another episode of Convincing Idiots.
That's never
203. It's never fun for anyone except the listener.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Or
you
the
like
viewer.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. So just a reminder out there, find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Find us on our YouTube channels. Find us on our Linktree page. You know, Convincing Idiots, Linktree, or Linktree Convincing Idiots. Either one will work. Look us up online at convincingidiots.wordpress.com. And Dean, what did we convince people of this week?
We convinced them that evil's cool.
Hey there, if you like that video, or if you just like to watch us make fools of ourselves, please like and subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you back here.
Ham grape.